Welcome, everyone. Um, let's begin this evening with a little meditation. As usual, I'd like for us to start in the heart. This is the center of our being. So as you center yourself in the heart, we'll continue on and I'll play some nice music here. We're going to go with Waves of Light from Zazen. We're going to go for two songs. Okay. It's good to be with you again. There's so much going on right now. So much. I think sometimes we get into a position where we want to rearrange the chaos. Our ego is always trying to step in and fix things. I guess that's part of its job. And that's not a bad thing, to want to fix things. But I think in this case, there are a lot of things that you individually can't fix anywhere but inside yourself. I would like to change a lot of things in the world, you know. Like you, I'd like to have world peace, prosperity, harmony. I'd like the golden age. No wars, no famine, no hunger. People treating each other with decency and consideration. A world where there's compassion and empathy. A world where we don't have to think twice about helping somebody else in need. We just do it. Because it's the right thing to do. During this time of birthing, and we're, as I've said for a year or so now, we're in a birthing process here. There is a new age that's starting. It actually started at the solstice, summer solstice. And this is going to continue to unfold as the old is dying away, as the old is going through its death throes right now. The new is being born. There's a new energy out there that if you're tuned into it, it's quite exciting. I'm finding that enlightened teachers all over the world are pretty much saying the same message. And that is that we need to be careful with our thoughts and our actions. And we need to help each other. We need to have some love and compassion, a world based upon that. I have instructed my students to vote this year. I'm not endorsing anyone, although I am recommending that they only vote for candidates who have compassion. We don't need leaders who have no compassion. And sometimes that's kind of hard to find. But it's there, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. As we move into this new age, things are kind of getting topsy-turvy here. There's a part of us that wants to, become really involved. And I am encouraging you for at least probably the next 6 or 7 months to, inside your heart, try to stay above the fray. Don't get down into right and wrong. This is all just birthing pains. It could get pretty dark sometimes. It gets that way before the dawn. But I think you're seeing, if you look on the horizon in all of this darkness, you'll see a light. It's a coming light. It's the new age. It's what we incarnated for. We came here for this time. You have a purpose. And that purpose is to find peace in the midst of chaos. That purpose is to bind up the wounds of those who suffer, to dispel ignorance, to have correct thoughts in your mind. Don't think about anyone else in any way that you wouldn't want them to think about you. Because in reality, when you are judging somebody else, when you're saying that somebody else is wrong or they're a terrible person, what you're really saying is that you're a terrible person because you're having those thoughts. Let go of it. We are God in the flesh. This is but a moment in time. This is not the end all. We're going through changes, and sometimes life isn't like what we want it to be. We all have little things that pop up. I had a little thing pop up right as this meditation started, and I'll share that with you. I normally don't have my little dog Puggy in the room with me. Keep him outside. What you hear is he snuck in and he's snoring over in the corner. I hope it doesn't bother you, but I think if it does, you're not paying enough attention to what's really going on. So keep your focus up here, okay? But that's what that is. Nothing, just kind of, I love that little dog. Yeah. So I wanted to let you know about that. And I also want to let you know that you're special. You have value. Your life isn't a waste. You may have made a lot of mistakes. You may have done a lot of stuff wrong. But you're still here. And that means that you're not done. There's still things for you to do. And I'm suggesting that you came here out of all of the tens of thousands of lifetimes you've had, and for the many tens of thousands, innumerable lifetimes you'll have, that this one here is the moment we have. This is the most important lifetime of any lifetime, because this is where we're at, this moment. And in reality, there is no other moment but this moment. But thanks to the energy of Shiva, this moment is always changing. It doesn't just get stuck like your computer screen sometimes gets stuck and you have to reboot the whole thing. That doesn't happen in enlightenment. Sometimes your soul kind of gets stuck in some of this mess and you get unplugged and replugged in. But your soul itself, who you are, that singular strand of luminosity that is your soul, which stretches all the way back to the beginning of time and will go continually up till the end of time, which is a very long time. That strand is from the divine nature of the universe. And each one of us has our own strand of luminosity. And we come into these lives and our strands sometimes wind around each other, and we share energies and insight and everything else, and then we move away, because your soul is your soul. You can get caught up in somebody else's life. You can just lose yourself in their life. A lot of spiritual aspirants do that. They come in for enlightenment or to know spirit, and then they get so caught up in the teacher that all they do is worship the teacher. And that's not what you need to do. You need to seek what the teacher's trying to show you. Christ said, I am the light. I am the door. I stand at the door. If you knock, you come in. Be gentle with yourself. It's tough here. We live in a world of great change and great disturbances sometimes. Puggy. Boy, he is sleeping solid. I apologize for that. Won't happen again. But it's here now. There we go. So be gentle with yourself. Quit beating yourself up. Don't curse yourself. Do you realize that when you're really putting yourself down, you're putting down the very nature of God? Because you are the very nature of God. We come into this life and our energy comes from the universe. And as we come into this world and we step into duality, then we step into the world of opposites. And in this world of opposites, we kind of work against each other and work against ourselves. And we suffer because there's friction and there's conflict and there's different points of view and there's different feelings. And we're all intermixing in this cauldron of Maya, the pot of Maya. And we're sitting in here and we're trying to figure out who we are, and everybody has forgotten who they were. Everybody has become blind and deaf to their true nature. And we're the blind leading the blind throughout this experience. And I'm here to let you know that you can awaken in this dream. You can become enlightened in this lifetime. And notice that when I say that, there's a part of you that says, oh, well, no, he's not right there. That's your ego. That is not the truth. This is an age of enlightenment. Enlightenment is everywhere. There has never been a time on this earth that I can recall, and I go back many lifetimes, where there has been so many enlightened beings showing up on this earth. Thousands of them, all over the place. Hundreds of thousands. You're one of them. Quit denying your divinity. Start seeking the oneness of God. Know that you are part of the divine and that you will always be part of the divine, and you cannot be anything but the divine. And you are expressing that divine through your mind and through your consciousness, through your fears and your angers and your love and your joy and your peace. You choose. What you focus on, you create as a reality. So during this time, especially I would say for the next 7 months, you need to really watch where your mind goes, because there will be great temptations to look at the horrible things that are going on, the suffering, the inhumanity, the fear, the desperation. And there's a tendency to want to rebel and change and force people to do the right thing. And I'm suggesting that what you do is you look at yourself. Be the Buddha. Sit inside your body, feeling the Buddha nature. Peace. Vastness. When you move into the Buddha nature, there is a vastness. No walls. No ceiling, no floor, just the divine. And from that perch, from that overlook, you watch the earth. And from the center of your heart, you recognize that those who are suffering, you need to hold them in your heart. Pull them into the highest part of your being and trust that that light will awaken their soul and they'll quit their suffering and start awakening up so that every part of their being starts to align with perfection. And as we align with perfection, the aggression, the anger, the suffering, the need to control, the need to manipulate, the need to dominate, the need to control through fear dissolves. And you have awakened to your higher nature. As you let go of your angers, as you let go of the darkness inside of you, as you turn all of your darkness into enlightenment and give it over to God, give it over to the divine. Just continually in your life, when you find something that bothers you, something that makes you angry, something that makes you fearful, you need to turn that thing and turn it into the divine. Just give it to the divine. And once you give it into that vastness, that endless space of love, those things start to melt because there's nothing for them to stick to. They are an illusion. This is just a dream. It's a pretty captivating dream, but it is a dream. So what you focus on, you're starting, you have a rudder on this boat, you're on this life and you're going through the oceans of time and you have a rudder and that rudder tells which direction you are going to be going. You decide where it's going to go. And that rudder is your intention, where you're placing your will and your intention. What you're focusing on is the direction you're going to go. And you can spend the next 7 months focusing on the suffering and the heartbreak and all of the stuff that's going on around us. Or you can raise your consciousness and say, this is a birthing. All of these souls are eternal. All of them are the divine. Nobody can ever die. Just their physical body will keep rolling around in different iterations until they start to awaken. So as you keep a higher perch and get rid of the darkness inside of yourself, quit focusing on the horrible things, on the lack, on the limitation, on the poverty, on the fear. As you start to release these things into the divine and sink into the divine, then you will find that your life will elevate and you will be like a light on top of a hill, where the darkness all around can see you and feel your light. And people are drawn to the light. They'll be drawn to you. You don't have to sit on the chair and teach. You don't have to go out on the street with a little bullhorn and tell people what to do. All you need to do is see the divine in everything. You just have to want it in everything. So this week, I really would like for you to focus on what you want to experience. If there's any virtue, if there's any honesty, if there's any heroism, if there's any peace and beauty, keep your mind on those things. During the turmoil that's going on, limit yourself on what you watch. Touch everything very lightly in this right now. If you grab anything right now, it's going to grab you. So you touch this life very lightly. And then I suggest you go for a lot of walks in nature. Listen to some beautiful music. There are wonderful teachers on the internet. Moji, I mean, there's a lot of them. Can go around. Inspire yourself. Lighten up. All of this will pass. What do I see in the next 7 months? I see a really nice rafting trip. When I was in Grants Pass, we used to go down to the Rogue River. We had these little inflatable kayaks, and we would float down the Rogue River. And there would be times in the river where it was just calm as it could be, just floating along. And then you'd hear a little ripple now and again. And so you go through, some ripples, and then you could start hearing a noise, the water really, really coming up. You can hear the water, a lot of water. And you know that when you go around the corner, there's going to be some rapids. And when you're going through the rapids in those little inflatable kayaks, you're always paddling forward. That's what gives you control. You paddle forward, and you're avoiding the big rocks, and you're avoiding the whirlpools, and you're going down and aiming up yourself up, and the rapids are up and down and in and out, and it's kind of dangerous if you're not paying attention. But your whole experience during that time of being in the rapids is right there in the moment. You're watching everything as it comes up. And it's terrifying and wonderful all at the same time. And then the rapids stop and the river's calm again. It's nice to have moments in the river where everything is so beautiful and so calm. But we come into these lifetimes for that peace, but we also come in to experience the rapids. This is an adventure. 8 months from now will be a new world, a new experience. And it's only the beginning of what is going to be an incredible journey into this new age. But for the next 7 months, keep yourself above the fray. Keep yourself, when you find yourself falling into moments of fear and doubt and outrage and self-righteous judgment, where you just want to grab your pitchfork and your torch and go out into the night, don't do that. Don't do that. Watch what you touch. Everything has an energy. And when people or things happen that turn the energy in on itself, if you touch that right there, it will hurt you. Just keep seeing the perfection of life. Life is really beautiful. Have you forgotten that? When's the last time you went out, looked at the coastline, or stood on a mountain and looked down into the valleys, or walked along a river's edge? When's the last time you felt a little puppy, smelt its puppy breath as it wiggles in the palms of your hand? When's the last time you really looked at some flowers and saw how incredibly beautiful they are? You can focus on these things, or you can focus on the inhumanity of what people are doing to each other and how they're hurting and how they're suffering. I treat every person I meet as my teacher. My teachers teach me everything about myself. They show me my flaws. They show me those things that make me angry or upset. They reveal the underbelly of my consciousness because I find myself dwelling on the underbelly of theirs. And so as we approach everything in life as our teacher, then we start looking at these tough issues that face us all, especially during this time. And we realize that if we're moving into anger or fear, we're focusing on the wrong thing. Meditate deeply. Focus on the divine. Read powerful spiritual books or see nice movies, about the Buddha or for Christ or something. Find something beautiful that inspires you. For whatever you focus on, that's your experience. There are 10,000 states of mind, going all the way from samadhi all the way down into the reverse samadhi of being totally lost in the Maya, and everything in between. And you are all of that, and you're none of it, because it's just a dream, an eternal dream of thousands of lifetimes, exploring eternity endlessly. What a wonderful way to be. How fortunate we are. How lovely is this life. How wonderful are the people in it. Be gentle with yourself and be gentle with others. You don't know what they're going through. You do not know if they have been abused their whole life. You don't know what their family life was like. You don't know what their experiences were like when they were going through school. What forces shaped them into their state of reality that they're stuck in right now. But I can guarantee you, no matter what states of reality we get stuck in, it's only temporary. And that's for sure. Nothing is forever except you. So try to keep your consciousness high. I think I want to meditate to 2, maybe 3 more songs as we end this up. And I want to thank all of you for joining me on these Sunday meditations. Here we go. Be kind. And remember, what you focus on becomes your experience, becomes who you are. So let's turn our full attention to enlightenment. Namaste.